Now please join me in our spoken covenant and sung doxology. The words are in your order of service. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in freedom, and to help one another.
Recognizing that there is human suffering all over this world in the course of natural and human catastrophes, we ring our gong this morning in honor of 3 such places of suffering and struggle. We ring our gong first, as we have since July of 2019, in honor of the 7 children who lost their lives in federal custody in our detention camps. And we let its ringing symbolically stand for those adults who have lost their lives in these camps, who remain at them, many at risk of COVID infection. And as we've heard most recently, for the women who are being pressured by ICE to have mandatory hysterectomies in horrors unseen or spoken of since the Nazi experiments on concentration camp victims. We ring our gong additionally once for the losses this week to COVID-19. This week, 36,883 people died of the virus globally. 5,204 people in the United States alone. We hold in our hearts all these losses. And also, appropriately, all who continue to risk their lives to provide essential services. Those who suffer job loss, whose lives are especially vulnerable to the disease, and all whose isolation and struggle through grief and loneliness is harder the longer this pandemic continues. Finally, we ring our gong once for the barrage of heartbreaking and unsettling news just this week, but especially for the people of Louisville, Kentucky, including our siblings of faith in that city. Last night, the lay and ordained people and peaceful protesters were kept hostage in the UU Church in Louisville, surrounded by armed police, arrested if they tried to leave, held for hours until an agreement could be reached. The descriptions this morning of tanks and helicopters in the city is chilling as a nation's history in which violence against Black women has gone largely unanswered by justice. So much to remember and to hold. May we keep all those we have named in our thoughts and in our prayers. And may we ease the tide of human suffering with acts of love and courage this coming week, howsoever we can. God, we know by many names and no name at all. Spirit of our ancestors who weathered hard times and injustice, loss and illness to bear us into this breathing world, who handed us this world with all its strengths and inherited sins. This morning, our backs are weary. Our heads are full and overwhelmed. Our spirits more than a bit battered and worn by all it is we've been asked to bear these last 6 months. And each week, a barrage of more bad news. Loss, hurt, lies. A vacuum of leadership in Washington when we need it most. We wonder, will the center hold? Will it hold until we can reclaim and restore the world that is worthy of the best of us? And so we make space for lamentation this morning. Ancient and ever necessary in the human drama of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and then forward again. Sometimes only inching toward the world we yearn to be part of birthing into reality. In a moment, let us hold shared silence. gathered from all our distant places into one strong worshiping body, held by love, held by common bonds and covenantal promises of the heart. And in the silence, may there be space to mourn, to throw back our heads and lament, to release, and to begin again. As our ancestors no doubt had to many times in their own lives. Let us be this long river of people of faith, mourning and choosing hope, choosing it, willing it into being. Let us hold silence together. Fill your people with hope, O God of many names and no name at all. Fill your people with hope and carry us forward again. Amen.
In 2016, after Trump was elected, a lot of people in my company were distraught, to put it lightly. People couldn't focus on work, folks were in shock, the company wasn't really doing anything to help. So I reached out to human resources and asked if I could facilitate a conversation. They said yes, but they reminded me that our company was nonpartisan, so I should focus more on empathy and less on Trump. Focusing on empathy and understanding different viewpoints is a great intention, but you know what they say about good intentions. That conversation worked really well for some folks who looked like me, who had a lot of privilege, whose identity wasn't under attack. I could tell that it wasn't working for everybody in the room, but I didn't know what to do to fix it. After we wrapped up, a few of the people stuck around and continued talking. They were mostly women, LGBTQ people, people of color. They were talking about what they wished the facilitated discussion was like, all of the topics that I didn't make room for, some of the ways that I made things worse. And even when you try to graciously accept feedback, it can be hard to put in the time above and beyond your job responsibilities to try to do something good and be met with nothing but criticism. But I stuck around with them, and I listened and apologized and thanked them for their feedback. And then, when I was facilitating the next discussion in a couple of days, I opened up by telling everybody that this wasn't a space for rationalizing and trying to understand the election or other voters. It was a space for being open about our own feelings. And when I said that, the group dynamic shifted. There were a couple of questions at the start about what I meant, mostly by the kinds of folks who looked like me, who maybe didn't want Trump to be elected, but who still felt safe and secure. But after that, there was deeper sharing. The conversation was much more powerful. It was deeper. It gave people what they needed. So I messed up. I made things worse. I got heavy criticism. And then I did better. And that experience has informed a lot of the justice work that I've done since then. I went to a talk by Robin DiAngelo, a scholar on whiteness and the author of White Fragility, and one of the things that she emphasized was that if you're doing anti-racism work as a white person, it's not a question of if you mess up, it's a question of when, and what you do when that happens. It's pretty common for white folks to care about making the world a better place, and then to start doing some justice work, and then to say something racist, or take the spotlight away from people who had been doing grassroots organizing for a long time, or face criticism and get defensive. And when that happens, it's common for those folks to stop doing justice work entirely. That's a reasonable reaction. After all, when you don't do justice work, when you're a white person who mostly hangs out with other white folks, when you try to avoid any controversial topics, you don't usually get called racist. You don't usually get criticized for reinforcing white supremacy. So why spend your time volunteering for a group that acts like it doesn't even want to? Well, because it's important. I didn't facilitate that discussion at work because it was easy or fun or to get praise. I did it because I've done and said things that were racist, sexist, heterosexist, and otherwise not consistent with my values. I've bought stuff that was probably made in a sweatshop. I've hurt people. And I live in a society and in a world where all of those things are normal. There's blood on my hands, and this is how I clean them. Many of us know the hymn, "Come, come, whoever you are." But many of us don't know that the version in the hymnal took out part of the original Rumi poem. Though we've broken our vows 1,000 times. Though we've broken our vows 1,000 times. Though we've broken our vows 1,000 times. Come, come, whoever you are. That is a hymn about atonement. Though we have fallen out of right relations, that we have unconsciously supported white supremacy, that we have sat back in apathy, thinking that there was nothing we could do, that we have facilitated conversations about injustice and made things worse and had to deal with criticism. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, mess up, then do better. The movement needs you.